he had a tab, and now basically he spent any gold he made from his expansions to Tavern Resurrect 2 level 5 heroes. Well, 1 level 4, 1 level 5. And now I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to rape the shit out of them because I still have 86 food worth of gargoyles. And, Demon Hunter might have level 3 evasion, but it's not going to matter when I have, 36 gargoyles attacking you. Eventually, some of them are going to hit. At this point, there's not much point in watching the rest of this replay. Basically, the reason this game's still going on is because we're talking about the strategy event and, what you can do about it. Because it's frustrating at this point. You notice all these gargoyles and you're like, wait, this isn't fair, My Dryads do absolutely nothing. The Panda did absolutely nothing. All my Ancient Protectors did absolutely nothing. What really can I do about this? And the answer is not much. Once the strategy gets to the point where my expansions are up and you have not done anything to slow the income advantage I've gained through those 2 island expansions, at this point, there's just not much you can do. I mean, you can try expoing all over the main, but you notice he's at equal income with me, and he still lost that fight pretty heavily. Because yes, he had 70 food worth of Dryads, but that's not going to amount to much when I have 100 food worth of Gargoyles, because A, I've been producing them longer than you've been producing Dryads, and B, I've been forcing you to spend gold trying to defend the small expansions you have. I mean, I think even if he had expanded at every possible point in this game, well, first of all, I was scouting all the expansions he hadn't expanded at, so I would have known. And second of all, it wouldn't really have mattered, because, once again, even if he had gotten those expansions up, I would still be running around, killing wisps, forcing him to build APs, killing gold mines, things like that. So, really, the answer to the strategy is not what you can do at this point in the game, but what you should have done earlier. For any elves that might be listening to this, realize that if you're going up against this version of the strategy, this hardcore tech, you really want to be pushing early on. And I've done this to so many elves in ladder, and they don't even bother scouting what my base looks like. And that's a huge mistake, because if you realize I have no crypt until, middle through tier 2, you should be able to beat me. That's what Arf scouted, when Arf being, the sole... not the only elf he scouted, but that's basically what Arf saw when he played me, and so he took his level 3 Dark Ranger, and he shoved it up my ass, and I couldn't do anything about it because all I had were 5 ghouls, and that does absolute jack shit when you're facing a level 3 Dark Ranger. Anyway, I guess I could delve into if you're going to go the very ape kind of vein of the strategy, which is basically everything I did except ignore the hardcore tech and ignore the Mad Frog strategy. Basically what you want to do is, instead of spending all your money trying to set up expansions, set up as many ziggurats as possible, get as many gargoyles as possible, and continue to deny those tier 2 buildings. Deny them as much as possible, as often as possible. Because, I mean, eventually he'll get the buildings up, but this is just for fun factor. I'm going to go in here with 98 food worth of gargoyles, and I think I'm going to come out with, I don't know. I'm going to come out with most of them. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, if you're going to go... Anyway, so basically what you want to do is you want to continue denying those tier 2 buildings. I mean, he's going to get them up eventually, but by the time he does, the idea is you're going to have so many... you're going to have that tier 3 army of doom, A-bomb, wagon, statues, whatever else, and he's just basically going to have just begun producing dryads, and he's not going to have the army in order to fight you. And also, if you go the very ape vein of the strategy, your tech is going to be done relatively quickly. I mean, you're not going to be ready to tech quite as quickly, so you're going to be able to, if you want, you're going to be able to tech the more outward necropolis that you built earlier for the food. So that gives your cold tower a bit better range than it normally would have, and that gives you a bit more flexibility for, to do shit with. Anyway, so I went up basically against 7 Ancient Protectors and 2 level 5 heroes with 98 food of gargoyles, and I lost I lost 12 food. So, like I said, 3/3 gargoyles, a force to be reckoned with, particularly when you mass them like this. Anyway, I felt this strategy was pretty decent. I mean, like I said, there's not much to talk about. This game's over. He's just like, oh my god, I must kill as many gargoyles as possible right now in Vent, so he's building as many ancient protectors as possible. But he's still not going to get that many kills, because gargoyles are imbalanced. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I know that the elf-undead matchup isn't really a matchup where you need as many strategies as possible to beat the elf. I just felt like this is a very strong strategy. You know, once again, kind of like my last audio commentary, not something you want to do every game, you know, because, like, if you do this on Echo Isles, you will get fucked up the ass just because he'll be creeping. You know, he'll be in a lot closer proximity to you. And, you know, you'll be like, hey, what's up? And he'll be like, oh, oh-ho, and then he'll push you, and you'll be like, oh, fuck. And you'll QQ to your mother, and she'll say, you shouldn't have crept. You shouldn't have gone Necropolis First on Echo Isles. You know, I would... Another map this strategy works exceptionally well upon, the hardcore tech version of this strategy, is on No Wood. No Wood is a great map just because he's not going to scout you very quickly, and by the time he does, usually, you don't have he doesn't have enough, whatchamacallit. He doesn't have enough stuff to be pushing you with because you've already gotten up your crypts and you're already pumping ghouls, so he's just like, shit. But, and also, because of the number of expansions, it's very much like, Twisted Meadows. I mean, they're accessible expansions, but they're all over the damn place, and elves aren't used to scouting for expansions, so usually you'll be able to get away with them. Anyway, you know, this game, like I said, this game's been over for a while. I have a level 10 Death Knight. You can go dual hero with this strategy. I prefer not to because I feel like the Lich becomes feeding fodder for the Night Elf heroes. Not that it matters much, but, you know, like, I feel like he's slow, you know, he's vulnerable, he just gets mana burned anyway, and, you know, usually you're going up against Mass Dryad, so it doesn't even matter. So, the advantages of having the Lich kind of aren't many, and the disadvantages are quite a few. Anyway, so that was my Necropolis First strategy. I'm going to put this in all caps, and hopefully someone will watch this audio commentary and be like, oh, wow, that's a pretty decent strategy. Because, you know, it's a fun strategy, but it's also a very liable strategy. You know, I've done this against pretty decent players and still come away with the win, just, like, screaming, lol, noob, ha ha ha. Not really, but, you know, it feels good, you know? When you mass gargoyles, it gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart. I'm feeling it right now just watching that replay. I really want to go mass some gargs. But you know what? This patch hasn't really been fair to me. You know, I've been laddering and custom gaming a lot, and in this current patch, I've only been able to do that strategy like 2 or 3 times. Twisted Meadows versus Night Elf, I haven't gotten that matchup a lot. So, you know, if you're a Night Elf player out there, please PM me, because I really want to mass some more gargoyles. Anyway, once again, if you have any questions, comments, queries, blahdy-blahs, feel free to PM me. You can message me on Battle.net, NG Creedo. You know, I'm usually on or around. I mean, I might be out of commission for a little bit because, you know, school's going to be starting soon, and college applications and research projects that I haven't started yet and things like that are all lurking upon the horizon, and, you know, I really don't want to deal with all that stuff, so I'm going to continue hiding out on Warcraft for a while, but, you know, it's like the Lion King. Eventually I'm going to have to face my troubles. And my categories. I don't know if you heard him on Vent, but he's meowing in front of me right now and lying all over my keyboard. So I guess that's my cue to end this audio commentary. Thanks for listening, and please, just leave comments in the forum.